What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NFL Trading Room. Today we've got a fun one for you. We are going to be breaking down some Josh Hoover film, the quarterback out of TCU. Before we hop in, if you would just go down below and like this video, it would just let us know that you're enjoying the content. But let's get into Josh Hoover. So he's a redshirt junior out of TCU, was a three-star coming out of high school, been at TCU all four of his collegiate seasons so far. He's thrown for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. Had a breakout season in 2024 and looks to lead TCU to some new heights in the Big 12, back closer to that 2022 season where they made the national championship game. He is losing some weapons, but he is going to be surrounded by some returnees like Eric McAllister on the outside, and Sonny Dykes is a good offensive coach, so shouldn't see much drop off from him statistically. But I mean, just as far as his attributes, he's got a good arm. I don't think it's elite, but it's good. It's definitely NFL caliber. The release is super quick. I think his footwork is very good. A lot of these quarterbacks in this class, their lower half is very discombobulated. Josh Hoover's not like that. I think the accuracy can be a little all over the place. I think actually in his most accurate reps, he's on the move, which is interesting. But like, we're going to be diving into the Baylor game, the Oklahoma State game. The Baylor game was definitely better accuracy than the Oklahoma State game. But there are still flashes of brilliance there. Maybe my favorite part of his game is his processing, which we'll dive into. Other than maybe Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik, I don't know that anyone else in this class is as good a processor as Josh Hoover is. Sometimes the decision making can look a little bad because I think he trusts his arms sometimes a little too much and thinks he can fit it into some windows. But overall, he's a very good processor, good understanding of concepts, and let's dive right in. All right, so this is the first play that we're going to be breaking down from Josh Hoover against Baylor. Here he's in an empty set, trips left, and Baylor's in this 3 down front here. Got the edge, walked up right there, but he's actually going to drop into coverage here. So Baylor's in a cover 6. So what that means is half of the defense is going to be playing cover 4 principles and half the defense is going to be playing cover 2. So this side's going to be playing cover 4, but it's actually a bit of an invert. So this outside corner typically would take this fourth of the field, but he's actually going to hang around in this flat kind of hook area, and this slot corner is actually going to drop back to defend this deep fourth. And then this high safety right here is going to drop back into his fourth. This backside safety, since they're in too high, is going to have cover 2 principles over here, so he's going to be covering his half of the field right here. And obviously staying with the cover 2 principles over here. This outside corner is going to be in a little cloud flat right here. This linebacker is going to be in a little hook zone. And like I said, 3-man rush up at the front. 2 edge players just kind of playing contain. This linebacker is going to drop out, create another zone here. And then this middle linebacker is going to drop right about here. So there's kind of your coverage right there. And we're going to see how that stacks up against the route concept that TCU is running here. So this outside receiver, he's going to run a little 1-yard stop right there. And then this inside, or this, basically the slot receiver, but the second most inner receiver is going to kind of bend his route a little bit outside, but he's going to turn it into a curl at about 10 yards. And this inside receiver is going to be the moneymaker right here. He's going to run a little 10-yard post and kind of keep it really vertical inside the hash there. Really wants to split these 2 safeties, but not get too close to this outside safety right here. And then on this backside right here, you're going to have this receiver on kind of a rounded 10-ish yard out, and then this receiver is going to be on a little flat out route, whatever you want to call it, short route. This is kind of similar to a levels concept. Most levels in concepts would have like 2 in-breaking digs right here. Basically levels, you're just trying to attack different levels of the defense. But essentially this is kind of like a levels sail concept here on the backside, where you've got this outside receiver kind of taking up this area and him trying to stretch this zone right here. But what Josh Hoover is going to do right here, his first read is going to be to look this way. Now, whether that's intentional or not, we don't know. I think it's intentional for him to look this way, but not for his first read. Essentially, he's trying to hold this safety right here to ensure that he gives this post as much time as possible. So let's dive into the play and watch it. Let's go ahead and play it right here. Just watch Hoover's eyes. He's going to hold this safety right here, flips his eyes back right to that post for a big gain. That ball's just really absolutely ripped right there. Great protection up front. Should be against the three-man rush. Very accurate throw right on the hands. And again, this out route is open, but by the time it's open, he's already looking to that post right there. So really just a great play call against cover 6. And we'll watch the end zone angle as well just to see that ball on a line. But great throw here by Josh Hoover. All right, transitioning to this play. We're in a 2x2 set, so just 2 receivers on each side back. It's to the left of Josh Hoover here. Baylor is going to run a cover 2 sim pressure. So just really, I call any game that the defensive line runs a sim pressure, because you're just, taking a would-be rusher and dropping him into coverage and bringing somebody that's not on the defensive line in to blitz. But here, the 2 men that are going to be in cover 2 are actually, you would think maybe this deep safety, since it almost looks like a 1-high alignment. But actually it's this, I guess this is the nickel right here. He's going to drop into this half of the field, as well as this player over here. He's going to get his half of the field. This safety is actually kind of going to hang around, and it's not necessarily a deep third. He's just playing a really deep, about as deep a hook as you can, trying to account for anything deep that would kind of beat this cover 2 concept. And then this linebacker right here, he's going to be in his hook right here, cloud flat over here. And then this corner is also going to be in a cloud flat. And actually, this is where the sim comes in. So this defensive end edge type, he's going to drop off the line of scrimmage to pick up that zone, and they're actually going to bring this linebacker. So they're going to have this defensive tackle kind of shoot out, hit the tackle, and then this D tackle over here, he's going to do the same thing from a bit of a wider alignment. This linebacker is going to fire right up the middle, and then this edge is going to come right off there and loop around, trying to get some pressure. But the route concept that they're running here, I've heard some coaches call this specific type smash. Smash has a couple of different variants. I've heard some call it China, but most of the time China is with in-breaking routes as far as I've seen. But I'm just going to go with a smash concept. Could also call it kind of a variant of a levels concept, especially on this backside, because this receiver right here, he's going to run about a 4-yard out route, and then this receiver is going to run about 10 yards and break that out. But this is the backside. Front side is where Josh Hoover is going with the football, and it's pretty much going to be the same principles right here. This receiver is going to run a 5-yard out. And then this slot receiver, Jack Betch, who is with the Raiders now, I believe, great player at TCU last year, he's going to run about a 10-yard corner route. But because they're in zone, he's going to throttle this down in between the zones when Josh Hoover throws it. This is primary read. It kind of turned it into this little sit route in between the zones. It happens quick, but you can see Jack Betch kind of turn around, react, and stop, wait on the football. Another laser from Josh Hoover, and I'll go ahead and play the play. So Hoover gets the snap right there, and there you see he's locked on to Betch that entire time. Great throw in between 2 defenders. Try to pause it right there. Yeah, that corner's just way. I mean, he's in his principle, so that's the correct play by him. But Just great arm strength right here to be able to throw this whole shot right here in between really 3 defenders at this point. And a great job by Betch to adjust and make the catch. All right, here is play 3. So again, another empty set right here. This time with the trips right. You've got the tight end offset to the left, right beside the tackle. Baylor's going to be in another cover 2 coverage here, but it's again going to be with 3-man rush. So you're going to have this edge and nose tackle, and this other defensive end kind of doing the same thing we've talked about. This edge is going to drop into a zone right here. This corner is going to be playing a cloud flat. This safety's got his deep half, as well as this safety right here. And then here on the back side, again, hard flat right here. And then these 2 defenders right here are going to be in just their responsibility hook zones. This linebacker is also going to be getting that kind of deeper zone right there to kind of account for the middle of the field the best he can. But as far as route combination here, this is kind of a flood or a sail concept, whatever you want to call it. So this tight end is going to be running a little flat route right here. And then this outside receiver is going to take an inside release and turn this into a corner route, which is perfect, kind of in between those 2 defenders. Here on the backside isn't where he's looking, but nice route combination. You're going to have this receiver kind of take an inside step, turn this into a crossing route, and then Jack Betch down here, this slot receiver is going to run a 12-yard hook, and then you've got this 1-yard stop that they run a lot, just kind of account for that defender. But again, this is Josh Hoover's first read. Another great job of layering the ball between this pocket of defenders on the corner route. And let's go ahead and watch the play. So again, just beautiful hole shot right there between that pocket of defenders. Again, that's why the flat route is so important. Not only does it pull that outside flat, but that dropping edge kind of takes the bait on that too. And again, just an NFL level throw. That's a Sunday throw right there for a first down completion. Again, just another great throw. We'll watch the end zone angle as well. Just kind of get another vantage point. Into play number 4, we've got a condensed formation right here. This slot receiver just motioned over. It was a trips alignment, but he just motioned over to make it a 2x2. And right here, Baylor's going to be in a cover 2 invert. So on this side, corner's got his hard flat. Baylor does run a lot of cover 2s, we can see. And this safety's got his deep half. They're going to drop this slot corner in a hook. And then they're going to drop this linebacker about right there. I think he plays this a little bit to his right, but that's about where he is. And then they are bringing a pressure here, so this edge taking the outside. And then this D tackle is kind of going to try to fight through this center and guard. The guard does a good job of passing him off and taking what ends up being the blitzing linebacker coming out right off his tail. And then this edge is kind of going to set up right there. And then on this backside, same principles. The flat right there. But this is an invert. So this safety actually is going to buzz down and take this zone right there. And then this outside corner is going to be playing the deep half. And this actually works out beautifully for TCU because of their passing concept. So we're going to go with the backside first. So they're going to run a little curl flat concept right here. Just a flat route by the tight end. This outside receiver is going to run a curl route. It actually breaks it like outside, which you don't see too often. But yeah, there's your curl flat concept on the backside. This slot receiver that just motioned over is going to run an in-breaking pivot route right about there. And here's the money play right here. Jack Betch going to get released right here and going to be on about that depth of post and why this is such a good call. Of course, if you had the safety already playing deep, he's got the leverage because he's inside of Jack Betch. But again, this outside corner, way out leveraged here, almost a full 5-ish yards of leverage right there. And so this is pretty easy play, pretty easy design, great call by the offense coordinator, and a great throw by Josh Hoover. So again, you see that safety buzz down, even gets hands on him. But again, Jack Betch, great job clearing that out, and a great throw by Hoover to recognize that, get to his backside, because he does look to the left at first. But again, really easy play design, great call. We'll get another look at it from the end zone angle. You can see it right down the middle of the field. Beautiful throw. Now we're going to jump into the Oklahoma State tape, just a couple plays from this tape. Oklahoma State's going to be in a cover one here. So this deep safety is going to have just his middle field responsibility. You've got man coverage across the board right here. And with the tight end with this safety. And Oklahoma State, not Iowa State, is going to bring a 5-man pressure here, and they're going to run a little game up front. So this edge in a wide 9, he's just going to outside rush. This D tackle is going to take this gap. And here's where the game comes in. So this D tackle is going to take the outside. And then this linebacker is going to blitz right there. And then you've got this edge coming right off the D tackle. And then this linebacker is just kind of in man principle with the running back right there. But this is maybe my favorite concept that TCU ran because I love it against man coverage. For those that don't know, I'm a big Tennessee fan, and when Tennessee's offense was rolling back in 2022, Josh Heupel would destroy defenses with switch routes, switch concepts, switch verts, whatever you want to call it. Again, we'll start with the backside really quick. But this outside receiver is going to run a drag route. This tight end is going to release and run a dig. So you've got kind of a drive concept on the backside there. But here's where the switch vert is. So this outside receiver is going to get the initial release and kind of bend it inside. Try to draw that a little better. About right there, and get vertical. A lot of the time when you see switch verts, you'll see them turn it into a post. That way it makes this safety have to make a bigger decision, and it gives this receiver more space just for spacing purposes. But this receiver did keep it a little more straight line than I would have liked, but still got the job done. And this inside slot receiver just going to release right off him, try to make these corners make contact with each other, and just get an outside release right there. And then just touch on the running back real quick. He's just kind of in a check release to the outside. But this is who Hoover's trying to hit. That's where he looks. Just a beautiful play, beautiful throw. We'll roll it right now. So you see the slot receiver slow plays it, then accelerates. Beautiful throw down the sideline there, right in between the defenders once the safety kind of realizes what's going on. Like I said, the outside receiver could make it a little easier by maybe bending that in with a post. The corner does reroute him just a little bit when they make contact on the switch rub route, but good job by that receiver to accelerate. Great throw by Hoover down the field to the opposite hash. We'll get another look at it here. All right, last play that we're getting into here against Oklahoma State. Looks like they're going to be looked like cover 3 with a 3-man rush. A lot of these Big 12 defenses running that 3-man rush, so just going to have that very basic right there. This edge is going to drop out and guard this flat right here. This corner is actually going to press and play this a little bit like man, but I would assume he's got that deep third. This safety's going to patrol to center field right there to get that center third. And then this outside corner is going to take his deep third right there. The slot corner's going to be guarding that flat right there. This walked down safety's kind of just going to sit right there. And then they've got these two linebackers playing in some drop back hooks. He gets a little deeper than this other strong side linebacker right here. But I would call this a sail concept as well, but with an outside post. Really, the sail concept comes down to these two right here. Of course, with the backside, you've got gets off the press with an inside release and turns it into a dig. This running back's just on a little short release. Not even really far enough to call it a swing route or anything like that, but just kind of waiting. If there's nobody else open, this tight end's just going to run kind of this rounded out flat right here. And then this slot receiver is going to get an inside release and bend this to the corner. And then this outside receiver is going to run a post right there. So really it comes down to these two. In a sail concept, you're just adding an additional layer with this post right here. Let's go ahead and roll it. And again, this is another great throw in between the zones by Hoover. Tight end kind of does a good job of just getting in the way of that corner. He bends it a little bit further than I wrote it out. It's more of an out route than a flat route. But that slot receiver does a great job of getting an inside release, breaking really hard to the outside. Outside receiver does a good job of just holding the corner just long enough in that deep third, which opens up that pocket in between the three defenders, which Hoover hits perfectly, right on a rope. You love to see throws like that. That's, again, another NFL throw. Just an absolute laser right there. Bang. That does it for our Josh Hoover film breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you wouldn't mind, just make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. That'll let us know that you're enjoying the content. Make sure you keep up with us as the season goes on. We'll be dropping more film breakdowns like this once we get into the season. Can't wait for college football to be back. But again, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.